Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Appreciate all of you for rocking and rolling with us. Another absolutely stacked show coming your way, and it's all presented by Vincero Collective. For all the boss men and boss women out there, are you trying to upgrade your look? Do so with an excellent timepiece from Vincero, like the watch that I'm rocking. Multiple styles on their wristbands, all different styles with their watches. You can look good and look like a baller without having to spend like one. 20% off and free shipping site-wide this holiday season for the faithful at VinceroCollective.com/chat. So on the show today, I want to take a look at some quarterback options for the 49ers if Brock Purdy does not work out. And if Jimmy Garoppolo's recovery process takes longer from that positive diagnosis that Adam Schefter reported upon, that Jimmy Garoppolo could come back at some point late in the playoffs. And here's the truth about Brock Purdy before we start taking a look at a bevy of options who the Niners could sign in free agency. Brock Purdy, we saw this in the preseason. We saw it against the Miami Dolphins. This dude is a gamer. He's tough as nails. He's willing to hang in the pocket with defenders in his face and deliver the throw like he did on a couple of occasions to George Kittle on that 3rd and 10 and that completion to Juwan Jennings. I like how he's willing to take chances and be aggressive with the football. Of course, that has to be measured with not making bad choices that then lead to turnovers. But at the very least, Brock Purdy, he'll try to fit that ball in between some tight windows to give his weapons a chance. He has solid mobility, but not great. It's definitely better than Jimmy G. He's a tad slight, and because of that, reminds me a little bit of Taylor Heineke with the Jimmy Garoppolo combination. Doesn't have a bazooka for an arm, so throwing outside of the numbers can be difficult, but he also likes to throw it in between the numbers and in between the hashes like Jimmy G. And why Brock Purdy can be successful. All he has to do is not mess it up. Play point guard, play the role of distributor, rely on the run game, rely on the number 1 overall defense in the National Football League, and play a clean brand of football in an offense that's one of the more quarterback-friendly offenses in the NFL. And yes, Kyle Shanahan has won a bulk of his games with Jimmy Garoppolo. But let's be real, C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins have also played well under Kyle Shanahan as well, and Brock Purdy was ready to go against the Miami Dolphins because of Kyle Shanahan and part of his tutelage. Brian Griese certainly deserves credit as well. You look at the numbers that Purdy put up against Miami, I just continue to be floored by the fact that this guy had to prepare like he was the starter, like he was going to get reps without knowing he was going to get reps. He did that, and he looked ready to play. And the Niners knew that. They had confidence in him because they asked him to throw 37 times in what was a very close game until late in the fourth quarter. 210 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, and that lone interception, which basically served as a punt, and he was able to complete 67.5% of his passes. So, who do you think will be the Niners quarterback the rest of the way? Type BP for Brock Purdy, O for other. If you want to drop a name like Jimmy Garoppolo, he could come back at some point in the playoffs, let us know. Either way, make sure you chime in, join that conversation, and embrace debate down below in the comments section. So to our options outside of the options on the roster in Brock Purdy, Josh Johnson, and Jimmy Garoppolo. There are a couple of retired quarterbacks who have been mentioned a lot by fans, but I don't think any of these retired options are realistic. Drew Brees retired last year. Phillip Rivers retired 2 years ago. Ryan Fitzpatrick admitted recently that he's still dealing with hip issues that he suffered last year. And Ben Roethlisberger is so washed, it's not even funny. And from Kyle Shanahan, he said earlier this week that no retired quarterbacks have reached out to the 49ers about coming out of retirement to play quarterback for San Francisco. But if any big move happens at the quarterback spot or elsewhere on this Niners roster, I can promise you, I can assure you, we're going to cover it here better than anybody else. Deeper analysis than any other YouTube channel right here on the 49ers Report. That's why you subscribe, because whenever the Niners make a move, whenever there's a big storyline or rumor out there, we talk about it, we chop it up with the faithful, so make sure you subscribe. Drew Brees, of course, is the most hyped up retired option out there because he's played most recently as compared to those other guys, and he's also produced more recently than those other quarterbacks. Yes, Ben Roethlisberger played last year, but it's almost as if he didn't because he shouldn't have. And Brees' Saints stats, awesome. My problem with him, my concern with him, lacks arm strength, and it's even worse than a Brock Purdy. With the Saints, completed nearly 69% of his passes, 68,000 yards. That Super Bowl way back in the day during that Hurricane Katrina season, 491 touchdowns and 190 interceptions. If Drew Brees were to call up Kyle Shanahan, I'm very fascinated to see what Kyle Shanahan would say to Drew Brees, because he's admitted, I love Brock Purdy. This dude needs stones. He has stones to play the quarterback position, and we saw how impressive he was against Miami. Now, can that be sustainable? Only time will tell. But I'm going to put you to the test, and I want to see where the fan base is at here. If you could pick one quarterback to start for the Niners the rest of the way between Brees and Brock Purdy, who would you go with? DB for Drew Brees, BP for Big Cock Brock? Let me know right now in the comment section. Now, you see this watch that I'm wearing? It's just added a pep to my step. I feel a little bit swag here walking through the Chat Sports offices and through the streets of Dallas, Texas, where I live, thanks to this timepiece from Vincero Collective. I was able to get 20% off and free shipping site-wide. You can as well. There's no better way to spread holiday cheer than upgrading your style for all to hear. Thanks to our friends at Vincero for sponsoring today's show. If you aren't familiar with Vincero yet, they make exceptionally crafted and stylish watches, all at affordable prices. Other premium handcrafted watches don't fit the everyday person's budget, like you or I. We're just everyday people, right? That's why we all get along here on the Niners Report. You can finally own a high-quality and lasting timepiece without going broke. So if you're looking for the perfect holiday gift to help elevate your style or someone else you love, save 20% off and get free shipping site-wide with our exclusive code 49ers in chat at VinceroCollective.com/chat. For all the boss men and women out there, their watches are a must. They can elevate your look with the twist of a wrist, made with surgical-grade stainless steel, durable silicone, and Italian marble straps. These sleek modern watches come with reliable automatic and Japanese quartz movements. One more time, it's VinceroCollective.com/chat, promo code chat for 20% off and free shipping. From the retired quarterbacks to quarterbacks on other teams, and it must be noted here that if the 49ers were to sign one of these other quarterbacks, they would have to get released from their teams. They would have to clear waivers, fall to the Niners in order for San Francisco to sign one of these quarterbacks. But could Jameis Winston ask for his release from the New Orleans Saints because they're not even playing him? They're playing Andy Dalton, who actually played pretty solid football on Monday night in that loss to Tom Brady. Matt Ryan, there's some buzz out of Atlanta that he has grown frustrated with the situation in Indianapolis, but of course he was an Atlanta great. He could ask for his release, and if that happens, he could pair back up with Kyle Shanahan. Nick Foles could also get let go, but he too deep on that depth chart. We've seen him propel the Eagles to a Super Bowl run and play great football when the games matter the most. And then Joe Flacco, another option who is currently behind Mike White with the New York Jets. Let's focus here for a few minutes on Matt Ryan, because there is that connection between he and Kyle Shanahan. Mentioned as a Niners quarterback target in the past, mentioned as a Niners quarterback target after the injury to Jimmy Garoppolo, because Kyle Shanahan was his offensive coordinator in Atlanta. And when Matt Ryan was in Atlanta with Kyle Shanahan as his OC, he put up video game numbers, and he had the best year of his career. Back in 2016, won the NFL MVP, and that was the year that the Falcons made it to the Super Bowl, and yes, they blew that 28-3 lead to the New England Patriots in the Big Dance. Completed that year nearly 70% of his passes for almost 5,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, average yards per attempt 9.3. This year, though, Matt Ryan has been awful. His completion percentage has gone down from nearly 70 to sub-68. He's thrown for just over 2,800 yards. Touchdown interception ratio 13-13. Average yards per attempt at 6.7. So the numbers for Matt Ryan going down, and the big number to look out there, yards per attempt. That tells me that his arm is zapped. And when I watch Matt Ryan play right now, he has this noodle arm where he can't complete easy throws on the football field. When you talk about quarterbacks who are over the hill and just don't have any zap left in that wing, that's Matt Ryan right now. We've seen it all throughout this year. We saw it on Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys after they got routed in the second half. Matt Ryan to San Francisco, I don't want it. I don't want to see it because I'm not sure this guy can complete easy throws. He might have familiarity with what Kyle Shanahan likes to do, but can he even complete the easiest of passes? I'm not sure, and I would get flashbacks to them blowing that 28-3 lead together in the Super Bowl. Let's round out with this, and this is popular among fans right now. Right after that news was made official that Jimmy G had suffered that foot injury, everybody started bringing this up once again about the Niners maybe bringing back Colin Kaepernick for a reunion. This is so unrealistic, and it's not going to happen. I understand why fans want to see it happen. And I do think that Colin Kaepernick was blackballed by the NFL. He should still be in the league. Could he put forward more effort in playing now? Was he willing to take a backup role? No, he wasn't. And that's his fault. But was he screwed over by the NFL? For sure. Colin Kaepernick should still be in the NFL as a backup at the very least. Some of the quarterbacks that we see nowadays are atrocious. I mean, shoot, if you had one game to win right now, would you rather go Kaepernick or Zach Wilson? I'm not going with the Mormon MILF hunter. I'm going with Colin Kaepernick. And yes, I understand why a lot of people want Kaepernick and a reunion to the Bay because his stint in San Francisco really was impressive. But let's be real, it just ain't happening. So what would you do if you were in the shoes of general manager John Lynch? Would you make the call to Colin Kaepernick to try to bring him back? C for call Cap, D for don't make that call. Let me know in the comment section right now.